Oh, okay, it works now perfectly. So, sorry for the very quiet start, but... Oh no. Okay, that was just my screen, my screen. English. Alright, we're here back again for Porsche Cup Season 2. That... Oh, I'm so unprepared. That should be the 6th round it is, and with that round included, we will still see 4 rounds for that championship. So still, there can be some changes in the championships. And I am not alone today. I am, as always, joined by Ryan Gill today. Hello, Ryan.
Hello, Fabian. It's nice to be back here for the Porsche Cup. We had our short trip across to the States where we had our quite exciting race at Laguna Seca, but we are now back in Europe for probably the most exciting track on the calendar.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, something to make it even a little bit more interesting would be if it would rain in the race, but let's see how the weather will be. It looks fairly stable currently, but that, especially in Spa-Francorchamps, doesn't mean anything. And before we start talking about today's session with the free practice, we will talk about the past and the past 5 races we already had, and also the championship standings. So in the last 3 races, the championship kind of went in a little bit more unexpected way than we would have thought, which it would look like after 2 rounds, because Giacomo Proietti isn't first position anymore. This first position goes now to Alessandro Porta, and second position is Daniele Flores, but the first 3 positions are still quite close together, and we will see that the disconnect of Giacomo Proietti very much hurt him there, as he only got to 22nd position and did not finish in Silverstone, as his internet connection went away for just a few moments in qualifying, but that was enough to not let him start. And then there is a big gap to the next driver, which is Stefan Miller, with 111 points so far. But he had 2 very good results yet, which have been a 4th position in Misano and in Zolder. And our 5th position is Mirko Pomidori, the first one that got penalty points. So these penalty points get deducted from your total points. So that means that usually you would have 107 points, but due to some penalties, he now has 105. This is to make sure that all the drivers oblige to the strict and harsh rules we have here at RLM. And 6th position is Christopher Wolfgruber with some very consistent results, but as he didn't compete in Zolder, that hurt him a little bit. But he is still in contention for 4th position, I would say, because he's still pretty close to Pomidori and Miller in front of him. Then 7th position, Zeligo Mazza, our Swedish guy, amidst all the Italian guys that are in this league, thanks to Racing Line Motorsports. And he has currently 93 points. Then we go to Stefano Chinappi, who is very known for doing the recap videos. So do check them out. He also does them for the Porsche Cup. Sadly, he is signed out for today's race, so he can't gain any positions and points today. And behind him there is Antonio Zeredi, who is just 2 points behind Stefano Chinappi. And to round off the top 10, there's William Ponturieri. Ponturieri is better, yeah. With 73 points. And then going quickly through the other participants in this championship. As last time, I already removed everyone that got disqualified from this championship to clear the tables up. P11, Steven de Walst. P12, Frank Elzer. P13, Maxim Yefanov. And behind him, Steve Banks. And then there's Michael Dirda, and this seems to be a very close battle between P10 up to P15, or we can even go further down, maybe even to P19, as all those guys are pretty close together. And with our points distribution, with our point system for this championship, where one position gained means 1 point more than your opponent, will help you very much. And this also means that there can be some changes still in the last 4 remaining rounds. So William Mazzolini in 16th position, Giorgio Raimondi in 17th, and behind him Anton Vasiliev, and Sergio Zuardi and Alexander Borodai round off the top 20. Then there's Radek Majkowski, Tarek Njumi, Raul Tori, Daniel Merchant, Tetra Peta, Karel Vondracek, Tom Young, the first one who didn't participate in a race yet, so I guess he will be driving today together with Arton Platini, Tarek Gamil, and Robin Brown. So these are our championship standings so far, but I think Ryan can give us an update, maybe about a new guy that has joined our championship in this with this race. So let's talk us quickly through the current practice session, Ryan.
Yes, I can. So at the top of practice at the moment, with just over 6 minutes left on the clock, is Tarek Gamil. At the moment, 2:21.7 is the fastest lap he has on the board at the moment. He is a full second quicker than second place Vasiliev behind him. So Tarek Gamil looking very, very strong here on his first outing. I've seen him around in some of the other communities as well. I think I've seen him in Mr. Git's community. I can't remember which other ones it was. So I've seen him around in a few different places, and he has arrived here at RLM for his first Porsche Cup race. Of course, the pace that you have in practice doesn't mean anything unless you can do it in qualifying and the race, but he's looking good here so far.
Yeah, so this should be very interesting, this session today, or this race today, as I would say. We already have Giacomo Proietti's lap time, but as we know, in free practice he always, well, in Formula 1 you would say he sandbags a bit. Very known phrase that is usually used for Mercedes cars, but can also be used for Giacomo Proietti in this season in the free practice sessions. But obviously, free practice sessions aren't solely there to practice your qualifying pace, as the race pace is always a bit more important, especially in the Porsche Cup, where we see mistakes every so often, and very often mistakes decide who will be the race winner, other than in our Season 2 championship, for example, where everything is a little bit more closer, and there are not that many mistakes that happen, especially in Tier 1. But in the Porsche Cup, that's another thing, as this car is very hard to drive, especially in race conditions. But yeah, you already know that stuff if you are a regular watcher or viewer of our streams of the Porsche Cup. We always in every race tell you that these cars are hard to drive, without any traction control and with less aerodynamics than the usual GT3 Porsche car. Yeah, and it looks like that Gamil maybe already did qualifying laps there, as he is 1.1 seconds faster than the guys behind him. And the fastest guys in this championship, which are Giacomo Proietti, Maxim Yefanov, and Alessandro Porta, are still fairly behind. The first one of these is in P4, which is Alessandro Porta. And Giacomo Prietti is 5th and Maxim Jeffanov 6th, so that already tells us that they might be practicing the long pace, the race pace, more in this free practice session than the qualifying pace, as they also have 30 minutes in the qualifying session, which is more than enough to get a feel for the conditions and to get a feel for low fuel modes.
Yeah, and just looking at the time boards, as Borodai has gone top just by about 1.5 tenths of a second. It's going to be interesting to see how Giacomo Prietti can do. Obviously, you have that unfortunate disconnect at Silverstone, and that has hurt his championship, well, his contention for the championship greatly, but it's also going to be interesting to see, you know, some of the other racing line guys, Daniele Flores and Alessandro Porta, what can they pull out here today? I think, looking down the grid, I don't know if Daniele Flores is here today.
I will quickly look at the signed out drivers, which is always a little bit hard because in the signed out drivers page you don't see the real names that they use in the championship, but their discard names. So I have to. So it's Flores. So he isn't signed out for today. So he should be coming then.
Ah, no, he is here now.
Ah, okay, yeah. There you can see him, 23rd position.
Yeah, so obviously he hasn't put in a lap yet, so we don't know what kind of pace he's got around here. Obviously he will have been practicing earlier in the week, so I have no doubt he will be towards the front of the pack. But Alessandro Porta, 3 tenths quicker than his teammate Giacomo Prietti at the moment, as we come towards the end of practice. But well, we know not to make assumptions based off of what we see in practice. If we did, then there would be a few people having won races this season that definitely haven't. But yeah, it's looking pretty good for Tarek Gamil at the moment. I mean, he's very, very quick. Borodai up there as well. But I think we have seen plenty from Borodai to maybe have a safe guess to say that he might not be competing for a podium today.
Yeah, he always had a little bit of issues with his race pace, but as I just see that the quality of the stream doesn't look good, there are artifacts here and there, so I will have to restart the stream and just disable the YouTube stream and just try it on Twitch only. So we will see. You will see us in a few moments when I fix that and hopefully fixed it. So let's see you in a few minutes.